Hi, my name is Natalie, and today I will be discussing two different theories. So, the cognitive behaviorism, which is also known as the social learning theory by Albert Bandura, and also the psychosocial theory, which was developed by Erik Erikson. So, getting into talking about social learning theory, let's start with a question. How would a behaviorist say that we develop a shy personality? They would say that we were punished for speaking, and so avoiding speaking becomes a negative reinforcer. The social cognitive view is governed by the stimulus response pattern as well as the cognitive processes such as anticipating, judging, memory, and observational learning. From this, Albert Bandura developed a reciprocal determination. This is an explanation about how the factors of our environment, our personal characteristics, and our behavior can interact to determine future behavior. These three factors affect each other in a give and take relation, and even past reinforcers are part of the cognitive process. So, for example, if you grow up in a loud house, which the house is considered your environment, and you're born with hypertemperament, which the hypertemperament would be your personal characteristic, then you are more than likely to talk a lot, which would be your behavior. And this theory stood out to me because it made me think about why I am the way I am. My family is not physically affectionate people. We love each other, of course, and we show it other ways. We're just not physically affectionate. And I don't think that this is wrong, but it was also something that later became a little bit difficult to adapt to when you got into a relationship with someone else that was an affectionate person. And so this was not something that I was used to due to my environment to show physical affection. It was something that I had to learn to develop. Additionally, my family can be loud, and I noticed that I talk loudly on the phone with different people, not just necessarily my family. And I also, most of the time, don't realize that I'm doing it. So it made things a little bit more clear to understand about my personality, and that's why that theory stood out to me. The second theory that I want to discuss is Erik Erikson's theory on psychosocial tasks. It's considered a social learning theory of development, and this is where individuals' interactions and understanding of each other and their knowledge of themselves as members of society is really what causes their self to emerge. So each stage will have its own crisis, which is its own moment of transition. We must solve the crisis in the stage we are in before moving forward. Stage one is infancy, and the crisis is trust versus mistrust. The core struggle is to develop a sense of trust in themselves, in others, and their environment. They can establish it if they are held, cuddled, loved, fed when they're hungry, clothed when they're cold. But if they're neglected, then they form mistrust toward human relationships that can last an entire lifetime. Stage two is early childhood. Their crisis is anatomy versus shame and doubt. And when children fail to establish some control over themselves, such as toilet training and emotions, then they may have trouble coping with the world and develop a sense of shame and doubt towards their abilities. They might master this by exploration independence, but if they are not able to control or toilet train successfully, then they can develop shame and doubt, which then evolves into causing them difficulty with accepting and dealing with emotions later on in life. They may become demanding and controlling as an adult, and they may live in a stage of denial as adults. So stage three is preschool children, and their crisis is initiative versus guilt. This happens when we must develop roles through play by establishing a sense of competence, and when we do this, we have a sense of initiative. Unexpected outcomes can come from playing, such as making a mess or hurting someone's feelings. Now, stage four is middle childhood, and their crisis is industry versus inferiority. In this stage, we set goals and attain goals socially, but especially in school. If not, we tend to feel inferior to our peers. Additionally, we want to make friends in this stage. We try to learn basic skills at school, and we learn to accept cultural differences. We also learn empathy in this stage, and we will learn the role we bring to a group. So, for example, we will learn, are we a leader or are we a follower? This theory stood out to me because it made me realize how much our first 6 years can help shape us and how we can learn to react to crisis. Unfortunately, these things can also lead to guilt and withdrawal. But one thing that Erik Erikson did point out was that there's a sense of early learning that can be reserved. So that was nice to know. Thanks. I hope you liked it.